CJS just dropped the package off for the FD. You guys don't know what it is, but I'm going to show you in a few seconds. I am actually pretty excited. The handy dandy utility knife that my dad gave me when I was like 13. It's not a good idea to do this on a chair with no hands. I could cut boxes open with no, I don't know, with no hands, I guess. So fuel lines. Fuel pressure regulator. The secondary 4-port rail. Some little seats and more stands for the primary rail. And the fuel pressure regulator bracket and some fittings. And some bubble wrap. Look at that, I got some bubble wrap. I like how he has everything packaged. It's all, the bolts are in like their own little slot, and then each one of the stands, like the billet aluminum anodized stands, are separated so they don't scratch each other up. Same thing with the rail. It's all nice and wrapped and protected from everything so it doesn't get all like banged up in shipping, because we know how FedEx and UPS are. And these, the bolts, the other stands, and the fuel rail, all nice and protected. And this is by itself. Look at that. That's really nice quality. The fuel lines, just like packaging, is really nice too. Fuel lines right here for the rails, and then this one has a little one to tighten down on the stock fuel line on both these, return and feed. Literally on the knee cam right now because I don't have anything to set my camera on. I don't know where the thing is, so it probably wobble a little bit, but I want to check these rails out. Ooh, that's nice. That is really nice. These look so much better than they do online. It's almost kind of hard to gauge. They look good online, but in person, holding them, they're like really nice. So let's see if those Bosch injectors that I have fit in this rail. These aren't the same size I'm going to use, but they're Bosch, so they should have the same O-ring. Cool, the injectors fit in the rail. These are the 2200s, so I'm not going to use these, but I'm going to use thousands, so I just need to order thousands, and then they'll fit right in the rail. And I don't think I'll need a spacer. So this is awesome. He actually includes with the kit the little spacers that go into the manifold to make the correct size to go to the Bosch injectors. And the Bosch injectors, the bottom O-ring's 14 mil, the top O-ring's 14.5 mil. So yeah, I shouldn't have any issues just sticking these short injectors in and not having to worry about any spacers. I'm gonna definitely test fit it once I get the intake manifold back. Right now, there isn't really any way to test fit it. I could do the lower rail because it goes onto the engine, so I could do this lower one, make sure the injectors fit. Can't wait to actually install the fuel system. I'm happy to be working with CJ Motorsports on the build, the FD build, and I can't wait to have it dyno tuned, to have an actual well-engineered fuel system so everything works, nothing's leaking like it was before, and the same with the intake and the throttle body and all that stuff. I can't wait to actually have the fuel system and everything buttoned up so I don't have to worry about the car, and I could drive it around without any worries. So I am very pleased with the quality of the kit, and I can't wait to actually be able to install it once I get the intake manifold back from the polisher. I think these black rails with a polished intake manifold are just gonna really pop. Okay, so here is the complete kit from CJ Motorsports. It is the upper and lower, so secondary, primary rail, lines to come from feed and return, and then lines to go to from here to the lower, back around, and then to the fuel pressure regulators. The thing I did was I kept all the hardware in the bags, and just so I didn't lose anything, because I'm not going to get the intake manifold back until the end of next week, and I don't want to lose any of these little adapters and any of the hardware, because it's all nice stainless hardware, and I definitely don't want to have to find some new stuff. Okay, so one thing I'm going to do today is I'm going to pull the primary fuel injectors right here and make sure the injectors I have and everything is the right spacing, and then when I get the intake manifold I'll make sure the secondaries are the same. I pulled the primary rail and I cleaned the little bit of dirt and stuff that was kind of built up around it. The injectors look almost brand new inside. The one thing is, I think I know why I was smelling fuel. This rail was like, the bolts on it were hand. So these are the little plugs that go in the intake manifold and the primary holes for the block, or the rotor housing, however you want to call it. But I need to lube these O-rings and then stick them in. So these make it so you can actually run normal size injectors. You can see right here, these black plugs that I just showed you are the ones that go into the rotor housing for the primaries, and then that converts it so you could use normal injectors. Okay, so everything works except the injectors I have are the shorter ones, and these aren't the ones I'm going to use, so I just test fit them because I had them. These are the 2200 cc, so I'm going to order thousands in like 1750s or thousands in like a 2200, just like this, but in the longer version. So these are pretty much just a slip coupler, so there is a little bit of wiggle room, but these injectors I think are I'll have to verify what length they are, but I think they're like the I actually have a micrometer. Let's see. So these are for the LS, because it's going to be CNG. I almost was thinking about making the FD CNG. I wonder how one would run on compressed natural gas. So these are like 50 mil. Yeah, the 50 millimeter ones. I think the ones I need are like the 73 millimeter, something like that. They're like a weird numbers. So I'll order those tonight, and then I should have them here mid next week. That's fine because I won't have the intake manifold until the end of the week, and then I can put everything together. So I'm getting pretty excited, and I like how these rails look in the car. They're all nice and, you know, black instead of how the other ones look. They're all like this, all a bunch of different colors. I really didn't like how that looked in the car. It just just, I don't know, the red and blue is just so outdated now. Like, hand fittings, I like the ones that are either all silver or all black or like all one color instead of like multicolor. I don't know how that came about, but it just looks to me really tacky, but the black, good. Okay, so I think I could finish up the battery relocation on the FD. Today in the mail, I got the terminals for the 4-gauge wire, and I also got the 4-gauge wire with the terminals. All right, so it's pretty late now. I was time-lapsing, but my GoPro died as usual. But I did get this all back together. I have that kind of just chilling. I'll kind of stick it tucked up, and I just need to put the rest of the harness in. For now, to power these 2 fuse relay boxes, I have this extra wire coming off of the alternator. But when I move everything in the trunk, like the kind of like the 240, I'll just that wire will be deleted, and all you'll see is that one with the red heat shrink on it. Relocation is finished. I am actually pretty excited because the trip and everything works again. I think before, what happened was that when the battery was like grounding out, it like did something with the trip. But let's bust these keys out. So yeah, this all works again, and that's really nice because before, I think what was happening was when the positive was grounding out, it was doing something weird with this, and that actually works. The add coolant gauge, that's cool. So yeah, I was doing something weird with that, but now it's on. Looks like it works all nice, and I still need to do some stuff with gauges, but yeah, I'm glad that is ready and finished. So once I get the intake manifold, and back here, this is where the battery is going to sit. I made these cables so you can see the black shrink tube for the negative, red for the positive, and that's the battery. So that's where it's going to sit, but I need to make a little thing, so I want it to actually sit level and like kind of like that. But and I want to have enough room so I could do this little thing down here. I don't know if you can see it, but it shows the amount charged on it. And then I won't have a spare tire in here. I never have spare tires in any of my stuff. But you can see that, well, it's high because of that little thing right there, but I want to have it so it's nice and flush. I need to put this back on. You won't be able to see those other things. Let's do this. Let's do this. Pull this up. What's going on here? Oh, I need a little clip. It looks like there's no clip on there, but push this rubber down so it's over it. So yeah, you don't see the battery. You know, I don't have a spare tire, but I usually have good tires on my stuff. I haven't had a blowout, I think, ever, which I'm probably jinxing myself right now, but yeah, and then the battery will be right there. You can barely see the wires in that. I want to make that little tray to hold the battery, and then I'll have a little cover so it makes everything nice and flat and solid. But yeah, I think that's that. I'll show you the inside of the engine bay. It was kind of hard to see last night. Right there, you can see the power wire going to the starter. That comes from the battery in the back, and then you see that little 4-gauge wire that goes up here to the alternator, and this wire is just for the power to this fuse box. But once the fuse boxes are in the trunk, that wire will be gone, so it'll be really clean. That's it for this video. I am pretty pumped about the fuel system for the FD. Big shout out to CJ Motorsports. And also, I'm glad that the battery is in the trunk and safe, and it's not going to be grounding out on the battery box. So I still need to make like a little tray / bracket for it. But other than that, it is getting close. I should have the intake manifold back from the anodizer next week. I just got it back from the polisher. And once that happens, I'll have I have all the fuel stuff. I also, you know, I'll put the new injectors in, the new intake manifold, new throttle body, that spacer, the old Greddy like elbow thing. And I should just have to go get it tuned. Hopefully it makes at least 500. I'm hoping for like 550. I heard once you get closer to the 600 horsepower range, you need to run meth, which right now I really don't want to add that on. I just want to drive the car at least for a couple of months after all this. I should have tires for it coming because the tires on those Inkies are pretty much cached. So, you know, if you like the video, subscribe, comment below, click the bell for notifications, and see you guys tomorrow.